This is your daily Grow, Optimize, Succeed landscaping business tips for your business. And so today I want to talk a little bit about understanding why production hours and knowing your production hours are so important in calculating your labor burden. What are production hours? Production hours are the actual number of hours each day that you are out earning money. That's not the total number of hours that you work. For example, if your crews come in or you come in and start at 7 and you finish working at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's 9 hours. But if you're actually only at jobs, adding everything together, a total of 7 hours or 7.5, let's say, right? That's 7.5 is your production hours. You've got an hour and a half that's not earning any money. Why is that important? Because when you calculate the labor burden for your team members, or the labor burden just for you if you're a solo operator, you need to be making up that hour and a half that still needs to be earned, okay? In other words, you're still paying that person $9, for 9 hours. You need to make up that hour and a half that you're paying them in the 7.5 hours that you worked. And so what you would do is take their 9 hours pay and divide it by, it's an hour and a half, and you would take that hour and a half that they didn't bill and divide it into the 7.5 hours and add that to their labor costs. So in other words, if you're paying them $25 an hour and then you add in the taxes and say it comes to like 31, and then, that hour and a half of 25 comes to, $37.50, and divide it by 7.5, you figure it's like $5.50 each hour that needs to be added to that labor burden. I hope that makes sense. Okay, but you need to understand what your production hours are, and you need to be as accurate with them as possible. You can start off with a guess. If you've never tracked this stuff, you can start off with a guess, but then you want to start tracking it daily and then adding them together and averaging them out, always trying to creep them up, right, so that you have higher production hours and less downtime. But by knowing what your production hours are, okay, you're able to set the labor burden, which allows you to set an accurate price. So that's your daily tip for today. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern.